Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting for today, Tuesday, February the 11th. I will confirm that all members of council, as well as the municipal clerk, are in attendance. And we'll call the meeting to order at 9:30 a.m. Go to our territorial land acknowledgement. We respectively acknowledge that the township of Alma-Calderman is located on the Mississaugan and Anishinaabeg territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississaugan Anishinaabeg. The township of Alma-Calderman respectively acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain their responsibility to ensure their health and the integrity for generations to come. I'll read the for request approval of the agenda, that the agenda of the regular council meeting held on February 11th, 2025 be approved. Mover in a second, moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion?
Do we need to make note of changing the order of the agenda? No.
Okay. You don't, thank you for the question. No, we don't have to. Disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Deputy Mayor.
To your logo, there are library board minutes here. It mentions financials, but there are no financials there. I just wanted to mention that I won't be declaring because there's nothing there to declare. Thank you.
Okay, we're going right on to delegations, and this morning we are pleased to have a bunch of people here that are going to explain the broadband and all of the big stuff that we're doing. I think I'll try and introduce as best as I can. First, Peter Deschaines is manager of public works and is actually engineering is his field. Then we have TJ, who's economic development. Scott Berry, who is in communications. Dan Borwick is the former, I think it's former, isn't that the right word? Who was the director of economic development and who recently retired, but I guess he's helping out a little bit. This was one of his big babies along with TJ. We also have, and I don't have their last names, Mike and Jeff. And I don't know exactly what your company is, but I know that you're heavily involved in the installations. So.
You're representing
Northumberland Networks. Okay, thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Peter. Yeah, should it sit down, please.
I need this, or can you hear me well enough?
We're actually on.
Oh, that's why.
Yes.
Thank you, and to begin with, thank you very much for this opportunity today. While I was driving in, I was thinking about one of the previous times I was in front of council, and it was also regarding broadband. We worked with the council today to secure about $500,000 worth of funding and then garnered the support of Algonquin Fiber. Fiber did a small pilot type project with the opportunity to service somewhere in the neighborhood between 180 or 200 households. And the nature of that funding was such that the federal government in particular is looking to do rural projects, give them some indication of their future support of how this can all come together, how a rural constituency can be served. One of the greatest challenges we currently have is that the larger telecom companies such as Bell or Rogers or Telus or Cogeco need to have a certain critical mass of people before they will ever utilize or install fiber to the home. So
Excuse me, Dan, can you just make sure that that's on?
Thank you.
Okay.
That's free at the bottom. That might work fine. Yes. Plug it in, Mike. Right.
You're getting your steps in. Yeah, we need it here.
At any rate, as I was saying, the major telecoms will not come forward and provide a service in rural areas because their business plan, there is not enough density to make the cost, make it cost efficient for what they're willing to invest in community or a household to provide a service. So the work we've been engaged in over the course of the last 5 years has been to one is determine where all the underserved or unserved areas of the county are. And with that, we then approach both the federal and provincial government funding to be done the necessary background. Just 15,000 by the unserved areas. So that represents all ones that are most population. Over the course of time, it's better issue that it's having this. And that's lowering that house. That's where we are at that moment. But you know, we've always treated broadband as a coach. Process of doing that, electricity, no value. And so also creating a partnership, private sector partner, which order to provide services that will allow business to have minimum utility rate network. One gig service to the home and the bonds to the resident. On the resident. Anyone else? There's your one thing about we that agree with I'm sure to this price that we're not putting it in. This says it's oftentimes it provides access to education, smart agriculture, enhanced healthcare, business productivity. And certainly it helps when anybody is self-employed or working because having fiber to the home probably makes challenges associated with the so that's that at this point in time, you know, it's taken us this long because it's not been east. It's complex, it's complicated. And to add to the excitement at this point in time, with the provincial election. Underneath the communications department, be informing most things, but not all things. Questions you might have. John and TJ have information that they'll provide you as soon as I provide him. What we do, they're signed agreements that have been signed off by the federal provincial governments. These negotiations are successful. So given one of the promises made by Premier Pulley is to have this completed by December 31st, 2025. And he is unflinching that requirement because he has raised his promise made, promise delivered. So the partners that we are working with have the capacity and ability to do that. And one of the key needs that this forecasts, what we should go about so that you know, and communications experience that Scott will talk about will provide you with the framework of the residents will know. That's why we're here. Just to put the dollar term in front of this, this is about $128 million project, on which the federal and provincial governments have another private sector part of it. So there's no burden on the levy. So if you wanted to have it to, nobody's forcing you to take it. My suggestion would be that somebody going and put it there for you. Even if you don't sign us at the beginning, you might want to have it there because one of the questions we're asked constantly in economic development is the reliability of technology for people. So that's my business. I don't say I turn over to you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor, and thank you everyone for having us here today. It's a pleasure to be here. There's a map and presentation. I'm not sure if you can see it or not there, but it basically shows you where all the gaps are through the county. You can see it's fairly large. This is a big undertaking. It's approximately 1,125 kilometers of infrastructure to install. So there are challenges with that, and we understand those challenges and we're working with all of those challenges. The second map you see there is the broadband hub connectivity map. It breaks the network down into 9 different areas. We've been referred to as OLTs on the broad. An OLT is an optical line terminal, which acts as an endpoint for the optics network, and it's used to manage the transmission of data for the network. Just want to give you a little bit of background there on that. The next slide is the construction phases. This is a high level review of construction phases. You can see the kind of the oval shapes are there, or sorry, the oval shapes 1 through 6. So 1 being the priority area, 6 being the lower priority area. One installation overview when we get to the basic shape state, which I guess is where we're at now. It is a fiber optic cable network, and the intention is to vary along county and municipal road provinces and certain fibers as well. As we said, most of this is going to be very feasible. However, there are going to be cases where it can be overhead. So this is going to hold on ourselves. Very necessary. And those are the things putting to process. So there's a couple different. One is, we have a piece slide that show you the light and you can see the interaction permissions really not. Really, fairly basic. Not really. These would be. So this is the word just to such as trade. Such as that nature. Again, the impact it's fairly minimal for moving suspense, either the triple shot, the area that they're drilling, so they'd be suspend, which is essentially so they can access the it's kind of the cave once again. I would like to know, is people like to thanks so much for to you and the next slide before you do the number, just to here's the boss. Boss is options, services. It should improve diet. So shortness. Guys, even in situation as we should. So the next slide, it will be municipal collaboration. It's maybe a county initiative of the impact. So all of the impact it has. This would work if there's supporting collaboration our role in this. The find money on the part. Some of the we it's changed. I understood. States. If you buy you reply, you get a work city access. I agree. That's actually fascinating. Mostly it's about institute. As you've heard, Dan and the team working very hard for many years of this vision of this big endeavor to bring this community to digital. Great news for all of us, I think, is that that vision is now on the cusp of being reality. So I'm excited because now us work with what falls to me. As Dan said, we are in a bit of not a lot to share, right? We'll have some challenges. There's a lot of general awareness about the project. We've talked about this vision for some time, but now we'll have some work to do to help educate all those uncertain residents to make them aware of the project, of the teams that will be in their communities laying the cable, of those opportunities, how they have that opportunity to connect, the permission forms that will be required, the consent forms. So we built a fairly robust communications plan that we're anxiously talking a bit post February 27th to put to market. They had asked for your help and your support and sense. I too would sort of an ask from the table. We'll be working closely with all those departments, my communications counterparts as well, to help us amplify those messages within your communities that those crews are in those areas. So we have a number of materials prepared. We'll be looking at everything from Canada Post mail drops. Also simply mobile signs in the roads as crews are coming. There's that window of opportunity for residents for 2-3 weeks in advance to then meet the teams, the build team that will be in there. How do they sign up? How do they ensure that they get connected? As Dan said, the remarkable part of this project is the funding supports those physical connections. And this is a unique opportunity of which we're going to encourage as many residents as possible to have a high value of those identified. So look forward to sharing those communications, our form, working with you and with school and staff to help assist us in that endeavor in amplifying the news and really building some quick awareness fairly quickly and changing the narrative, if you will, from the vision of what it's going to be to the reality that's here today and how we build this network. Residents take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you, Scott. Council members have any questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Stover.
Through your mayor logo. My question, you're gonna tell me, it'll tell you how much, of the setup that I know. So when I'm listening to, Scott, when you were talking, so does somebody have to have this cable come to their house? As far as.
There's 2 steps to the process. One thing I just want to reiterate that Dan's spoken to, Northumberland County and our partners are building the infrastructure. We are not the ISP provider. That's our private partner. Our job is to build this with our partners to build this network. It is a physical connection. So there is a physical connection to the house. If the team builds the structure of the backbone, Dan refers to it as the mainline track that we're building. We need those little branch lines from the municipal right of ways and wherever the branch is to the original house. It's a physical connection.
And you have to get permission to do that, as I understand.
Once we do, but there are consent forms on private property, which the crews that will be there require consent form. It's a typical form you'd like to see. It identifies where the septic systems are, where best to lay the cable. That's a dialogue and a discussion with the crews in the fields. They're knocking door to door, maybe 3 weeks in advance, leaving door knockers. They want to have those conversations. There'll be a form. There'll be the ability to go online to websites to help complete it, to lay in those details. And the crews that are in the field will have those conversations to confirm with the resident dwelling of this is how best to do this.
Thank you. Do you have a follow-up?
I have just a follow-up. My eyes aren't that good this morning, and so I would think that we are number 5. Would that be correct?
Yes.
And I'm just wondering what your projected date to get to this area would be. I'm hoping that we're part of one and part of.
I'd like to ask going forward and maybe have a review of the council today, and I think he's more versed in
so sorry, the schedule right now, we'd be looking at the design of the.
So we would go 5.
branch off. We absolutely need consent to get it to the house to make that fund. If for whatever reason, should be, which then can't get that consent, that does not mean that it's the is connected. It's all of those units, very 5-2 property and close it in very small there, so that it's very easy for us to come out and change the mind, to decide either to change their mind down there, or again, we couldn't reach them here. Additionally, all of the trucks, all of the construction people, might be on site. All the sites that you have consent forms, information packages, and all other. So again, after this, you know, and then not to see these copies of conversations. So the goal, I think, and point here is to get them much better quality rates. And also make it easy to verify.
Right.
Councilor Ainsworth, do you have a question?
For you, Mayor. I actually don't have any questions because I'm one of the recipients of the early installation. So, yeah. All from fire and area provider, great service. And, the ability to use the internet now from what we used to have, satellite internet or something through Jogger. And, because we live in around. And not only has it been a great service for the internet, it allows me to get rid of the high cost of TV, because now I can stream. So it's really been like a double whammy for me to save that cost of the TV and the watch the whole process go down the road. So I often wondered why really old shit I to get fiber optic.
Sure.
That's a good thing.
I think it was just like a lot of things. It was serendipitous. So, I've gone from fiber and knocked on their door and said, there's a program that you could coordinate the funding and introduce us to the individuals and all of them who might be interested in that. And so all that just took off. And so it was one of the reasons for in particular for Shelter Valley was to prove that if they do fiber to the whole, they get the help for the geographic locale. Here's the most money for us. Having a satellite switch and not having, have a bigger and very important to say that James Hall was and that can improve our overall presentation tables and so you want to buy 3 satellite dishes that are actually so its impact on agriculture, on tourism operators being involved in that and also advertise the fact that we are looking at education and in particular health, because the ability to do telehealth by video uninterrupted and not dependent upon its pros or the connection loss is enormous. And not to be self-serving. This one's free. Like I mean, it's not on the left. Maybe I'll stop.
Councilor Booth, do you have any questions?
Through you, your worship. Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's very informative. Actually, I'm in construction phase 1. I know the deputy mayor said it's mostly 5, but I'm out really in the boondocks there. When they're talking about the construction phases, does that mean 1 is going to be the first ones that are installed?
That is correct. So 1 and 6 are in a certain phase. So you're in the construction phase. So you have 1 is the first area of time start construction. We are targeting early March to be able to check that off.
Okay, and I guess Dan partially asked the question somebody had asked me before is once they lay the cable and they hook it up to your house, they're not waiting until December that a switch gets turned on and everybody gets it at once. Once they hooked up to your house and they're moving on to another phase, does that mean people then will have it?
So the goal will be to complete the phase, which would be everything from, fiber to that all spacing inside. To get out all of our source. So that will be done based on the OLEDs are all designed to go and be embedded in faces.
Okay, thank you. Just one more, Mr. Mayor, is slide number 11. The municipal collaboration, the number on the side, on the right-hand side that says approximately numbers, what does that mean? Is that the consent or shows as A&H is 29?
Thank you, through you there. Yeah, so that's the number of expected applications that that a municipality could expect to receive. And
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mayor Coffin, do you have any questions? Oh, go ahead.
if I could just add to that, they're not coming all at one time, they're being phased out over the next couple, 3 months. So they won't be seeing it all at one time.
Yeah.
I could add to the comment program. With respect to lighting up the network, once you're connected, there is a short testing period, just to make sure that next fall doesn't work. That takes place.
So maybe if I can just, the 29 that you mentioned, they'll come gradually. And what do we have to do with them? What is the responsibility of the township to do with those?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. So municipal consent, it's a bit of a process. So they'll submit a package with the drawings, showing the proposed location on the Bryan line or the main line, if you will. And municipal staff and the county staff will look at these. You will review them and make sure that that location is acceptable, and that it's not going to interfere with any planned construction between now and 10 years. Again, plan or 5-year plan, or that it's not going to impact any other infrastructure, any other buried utilities that already exist. So it involves a desktop review, a field review, and then a drawing markup, which you return or approve, whatever the case may be.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
What I really jumped out from what I was listening to you was that you should get it put into your home, even if you don't plan to use it. And we have a number of seniors who've chosen not to connect because they say, I don't need it. I'll come to the library on the rare occasion I do need it. And I'm just thinking, we've got that bulletin board, lots of seniors are in and out of this building, and not specifically this one, but in general, these community spaces that have bulletin boards. I didn't see in the communications plan, and you've got to sit at the back, community bulletin boards, but I think at least in this community, it's an exceptionally effective way. And also if our librarians know they're the people who are getting the questions about what's coming. And then, if I may, I have a very specific Centerton question because it's circulated for forever in this community, and I do live just down the road here. The fiber optic that ran along 22 and then turned up McDonald's Road, are we going to be connecting into that, or is it going to be new?
It will be new.
Yeah, I believe that was a point A to B run for a separate.
I know, and very frustrating to everyone living along the path.
And I can imagine exactly, it goes right by your door and they can hook up, but no, we will be bringing all in separate infrastructure from certain extent.
Okay, thank you. I need to know that answer because I'll get that question.
The regarding municipal consent, is that what councils are supposed to do? And I assume that we'll get one consent application, or is there a bunch of them, or exactly how does that work?
Thank you, through you, Mayor. So the reason we're here today is to get, well, not us in particular, but for your staff to get authorization to execute the municipal access agreement or MMA agreement. which is an agreement between the municipality and that Northumberland Network LP. And that agreement is pretty standard. It happens all the time. That spells out, liabilities, what's gonna happen if this is damaged and things like that. Municipal consent is separate and that will be done by staff.
Okay. And so are we, well, we're gonna go a different way. Private roads, what if a person doesn't want to allow that? Can they stop it? And how would you get in there?
I can start off with that question, Mayor. So if there's a private sector road that is being proposed to have infrastructure on it, if they don't get consent or approval or an agreement in place to install, they wouldn't be able to. Jeff could speak a little bit more if you'd like, Jeff.
And I think that speaks very much to the overall design. So, we've got a basis for design that we've got for the network right now, but it would be subject to items exactly like that. So if we were planning on going down a private road, you can't get consent, you would have to plan around it and service as many as those customers still with a different route. So generally speaking, the way the network's designed, you should have options in all cases, but again, there'll be one-offs, and those are decisions that we will make through the permitting process and finalize the design and come back and provide you the final design once you've gone through all the permitting.
Thank you. And what about, I think you mentioned liabilities and that type of stuff. Are we, as a township, taking on any liabilities?
More for the constructor. So if we do damage or our constructors do damage out in the field, it's their responsibility to make that right. So everything from even, ground repairs, if we're putting in, a box where we've got slices or connections going into, that has to be perfectly at ground level. We have to repair all the soil and everything around it, like we were basically never there. The same with the running lines, we mentioned a little bit about the plowing. The plowing only opens up with that large ground, but after we're there, we want to make sure that it looks like we weren't there. We used to have a saying in the companies, make it look like you were never there. That is the goal of making the ground.
And my final one, do you register with call before you dig?
Yes, we do. Actually, Mike, we just spent the whole week on that process. Very important to us, and obviously it's a legal responsibility.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Go ahead if you got one.
You just one, as I'm listening to Mayor Logal, I just have one more question. Do you expect to put in any more towers, or the towers that are in the area, will that service this area? And I'm particularly wondering about the lake shore in Grafton.
I have to go back and look. There is a nominal area in the wider county. I think there's 4 pockets that we were proposing wireless that would be served by towers.
New installation.
Yes, so we're still reviewing that, and it's far from final right now, so I can't quite comment. As we narrow that down, I'd happy to come back and show. And again, our overall plan, it's important that you guys want to see that before you even start construction. We can come back, basically like, so.
Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sure we all learned a lot of what's coming, and we are going to get lots of questions. So I appreciate you coming, and we'll try and communicate as best we can. And I know you'll be working with Peter, you'll be working with staff and lots of people to get it done for us. So I think you're heading in the right direction. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. That's what. Sorry, if I could, Mayor Logal, given the pressure that we're under from especially our provincial partners, is I guess most critical to us at this point in time is the approval of council of the municipal access agreement. And I'm going to ask is, do you have a sense of when your decision will come on that? Because as the agenda reflects, this report was put in for information. Yes. So if there's any indication of when you might come to that conclusion, that would be helpful to us.
Yeah, we'll have it done this month.
All right.
And I've sat in the other chair lots of times, and if I ever heard it within the next month from you guys, I would have been so excited, eh?
I know after saying it's coming to Bob Crate enough times, I've watched him levitate in his chair and want to come over and throttle me because
And I guess I will make one comment. I know TJ's, helped me out a lot of times when someone calls and said, when's it coming? When's it coming? And I'd send it on to TJ, and that was a big help.
anyway, thank you so much. This is a collaborative project, so, it'll make a huge difference and,
If so, but
Just the humor, I'm just wondering if we need to pass a motion to, get staff to put this in the works.
well, first of all, we gotta accept receive it first, and I guess we can, at the time, put a motion on to add on to that. It's already in the works. We are gonna address it with staff this afternoon, so I'm pretty sure that we'll be covered.
Okay.
That way.
Can I say one last thing? I'm not selling anymore. I'm sorry. Actually, it's to, direct it towards Councillor O'Neill and, the matter about the seniors. Nothing could be more beneficial in terms of dialogue with the seniors. This is what telehealth could bring under these circumstances. So,
If I may.
Yep.
I actually had that in my head too, because certainly when I was campaigning up in the Rosemead area, that came up frequently.
anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm gonna read the resolution to council. We can get a mover and a seconder. That the presentation from Peter Duchesne of the County of Northumberland regarding the Northumberland County broadband project be received for information. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any further discussion? All in favor? Good. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to a closed session. So the resolution reads that the regular council meeting of February 11, 2025 move into a closed session under the Municipal Act, section 239(2)(f). Advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. And it addresses a 239-3.1 for education. So, can I get a mover and a seconder to go into close? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Booth. All in favor? That's carried. Excellent.